right, y'all. Leak number 2. More leaks. If you guys didn't see the last video, go see it. But apparently, Ryland is being just called out everywhere because Ryland had a pattern in his friendships of doing what happened to Trish. Hi guys, it's Joy. If you haven't seen my last videos, please go check those out because this one probably won't make sense. This is about the Trisha Paytas hairbyjay situation, which suddenly turned into Shane is the worst person on the planet for a week situation. So says Trisha, with this much evidence. So I've been covering this because I'm very critical of what Trisha is saying, because Trisha is a known liar and a known troll. She's admitted to this. She's a known narcissist. She's admitted to this. And on top of all of that, what I find very interesting about this whole thing is that Trisha, and this is what's driving me nuts, is that people have, now that Ryland has spoken up, right? And it was at the point Trisha was going so hard, Ryland was going to have to say something. Somebody from Shane's camp was going to have to say something. And people have canceled Shane so hard that it kind of gave no choice but for somebody to speak up. And because Ryland still does his podcast, it was Ryland. And Ryland spoke up, and I thought he was respectful. I thought he did everything he could to address what he could respectfully without giving it too much attention and then moving on with it. But no, because he's connected to Shane, that's not good enough. He is the world's worst person because Trisha says so, because Trisha never lies or exaggerates or has BPD episodes where then she regrets it later, like that never happens. And so apparently there was a leak that Shane Dawson and Ryland were talking crap. Mad crap with Jeffree. And there's a leak. You know what the leak was? It's a podcast that's out there. It's out there with Jeffree on it. Jeffree made a snide remark about owning his home, unlike other YouTubers. And Ryland did a quick giggle. That's literally, go check it out. That's the big leak. That Shane is just the devil. You know, because Trisha's got to rebuke him. It sucks because Trisha was a victim by hairbyjay, and she probably was bullied by Jeffree, right? But then she turns around and starts bullying Shane out of nowhere for it. Shane had nothing to do with any of this. So, apparently, people are comparing the fact that this has been a pattern and that when this has happened in the reverse with Ryland before, that Ryland cut people off. Ooh, and apparently it was a person he did the live stream or the pod. I don't know. This whole thing feels dumb. This whole thing feels weird, in my opinion. I enjoy talking about stuff like this and dissecting it. But you know how like when just stuff just gets so over the top, I'm drained. I'm exhausted from it. So anyway, if I seem like, that's why. So, because that's exactly how I feel. Also, I'm having issues with this sweater dress in between sizes. Y'all know, super fun time. So just a heads up, if anything looks funny, not intentional. So let's do this. Let's break it down. First, I want to just give a small clip of what Ryland said, and then I want to play for you guys the big other leaked audio that's out there for everybody to see. The leak on Ryland being a huge hypocrite, and apparently Shane is the devil, and everything about Shane is nothing but evil and horrible because ultimate right, ultimate wrong, no shades of gray or rainbow. Let's look at it.
I guess the first thing we have to address is, and I hate to do this because Trisha's friendship means more to me than a headlining story on this podcast. I hate that we're a podcast that does hot topics, and I've somehow become a hot topic that I feel I have to address in some sort of way because I've been flooded on all elements of social media regarding this situation, and Trish is mad at us right now, and I guess I'm confused. I was taken back a little bit, and I understand like she's had drama with Jeffree and hairbyjay, hairbyjay obviously said horrific things that I don't stand by. I don't support. Obviously, I support Trisha over hairbyjay. Like, I've never followed this man. I don't know this man. I've met him once in passing.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm so heavily involved with this really does break my heart because I love Trisha so much.
Yeah.
I consider her one of my closest friends. We see her more than I see really anyone besides you because you come over weekly for this podcast. And I guess at the end of the day, I truly wish she would have come to me as a friend if she was hurting like the way that she is and talked it out with me. And I wish that it wouldn't have played out on the internet like this. I just am really honestly confused because I see her all of the time. And even after the last time Jeffree was physically on this podcast, I was at her house and we had a wonderful, loving time. And I understand maybe it's hard for her to express her actual feelings towards Jeffree to us, or the gravity in which she's feeling feelings towards Jeffree when she knows we're specifically friendly with Jeffree. So maybe it's hard for her to like ask me to cut him off, but at the same time, I can't read someone's mind. And I feel like as an adult, I have two other adult friends that got in an altercation a year ago. And maybe it is my fault for never having asked her where she truly stands or wants me to stand. I just, I felt as though that was like their lane. I never hung out. I think one time I was with Jeffree, Shane, Trish, and myself together. Like they were independently friends, and they're both independently my friends. And like I said, I see Trish all the time. I love her, and I wish she would have just hit me up personally so that we could have dealt with this situation. And I feel awful. I feel awful that I contributed to her feeling this way, because she's obviously scared and hurting and doesn't want to be in the position she's in. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I have this podcast, and trust me, there's nothing I would rather do than just go about business as normal and have
And handle
fun.
it privately.
Well, and just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have drama on the internet. Trisha's friendship to me means so much more than the internet.
Yeah.
And so I'm just bummed out by it, honestly.
All right, so you guys have heard some of that. Now let's hear the clip where apparently Ryland and Shane are the worst people on the planet. Here's the leak.
You were like, do you even have toxic
Yeah, I was like
relationships?
gonna say.
And I was like, my only friend breakup ever was with you.
But we got back together.
We did. Well, I guess, no, I had two friend breakups because I broke up with you over aligning with a friend that I had broken up with.
Right. And then you and I didn't talk for like maybe a decade. And then one day
A decade? No,
I don't know.
Like 3 years.
Was it 3 years?
Were you hurt?
I haven't even been here that long. Was I hurt? Yeah, I was hurt. I was the one that hit you up afterwards and I was like, hey, I don't like this. I miss you. Can we go hiking?
And then I slowly integrated you back into my life. We started by like
you.
hiking once a month. And then I was
No,
like,
we started
yeah.
by hiking once a year. But I did miss you. I hate everyone here.
Well, I felt that you chose somebody, we were besties, and you chose somebody that you didn't really know over me because
Yeah.
you guys were like writing together.
Well, to be fair, the way that whole relationship crumbled with you and this third party, we'll call them Max. But I didn't know how severely toxic this ex-friend of yours was, because it seemed kind of petty to me. And in my mind, I could have both. You know what I mean? Like I could have a
Right.
private relationship with this man and a private relationship with you. And looking back on it, I now realize that you were so upset, almost in a super protective way.
Well, yeah.
Because you knew something that I didn't know.
Well, it wasn't just me. He had been dropped by 4 or 5 of my other friends because they had also rubbed them all the wrong way as well.
I mean, it just took me, getting abused and used to come to that conclusion myself. But even, I think you and I started talking again before I dumped him.
Yeah, you guys were still working together
Yeah.
because I had gotten over it. That would be the only person that it might be awkward if I had run into in the past. Now it's like so far behind
Right.
me that I would just say like, hi, how are you? But
I
back then,
wouldn't.
it's like, that would be my fear of running into a toxic ex.
So apparently, this is a hypocritical situation, and Ryland is a huge evil hypocrite because Ryland says that he had a friend break up with this person. I think Lizzie is the name, right? I'm horrible with names. But apparently, because of that, well, they've already been through this before, so they should have seen the writing on the wall, and they knew what they were doing. And I just heard so many things. First of all, we don't know any details of that, any real details. Now, there are some similarities, sure, but you know what happened? Here's the best part. I feel like Ryland in this actually proves that he is the more respectful person. You know why? Here's why. When Ryland had his friend break up with both of these people, did Ryland go and do a big YouTube campaign to continue to cancel them? Oh yeah, now Trisha's big thing is Shane is definitely an R word. He's actually one, even though she's been saying over and over again, he's not. But I think it's funny because I'm looking at this and I'm just like, this actually proves that Ryland is acting like the better person. Because when Ryland had a friend breakup, he did what most mature adults do. For both friends, he didn't go, as far as I can tell, on a big social media campaign to promote his new emo music and the latest adult toy and your podcast of people that openly hate Shane, but it's okay for you to align with them for business because you're such a good friend. But, Shane with Jeffree, Shane's just bad, which I still think is funny. But I'm looking at this and I'm giggling because I'm like, he didn't do what Trisha did. How can you even compare the two? They had a private issue because they had a disagreement with somebody who she was friends with that Ryland felt was unhealthy. We don't even know the story. So you know what they did as adults? They respectfully parted ways. And then when the girl found out that Ryland's concerns were true, at some point, Lizzie comes back and says, I miss you, let's talk. You know what they did? They came back together. Wow. Kind of like sometimes people go through natural cycles of friendships where you're closer to somebody and then sometimes you back off and sometimes you're closer to somebody and sometimes people drift apart. And it's not like Trisha has said she has attachment issues where she has to have a boyfriend or has to have best friends and people all the time. It's not like Trisha says she has BPD and abandonment issues. It's not like Trisha could have confused all this for abandonment. No, because Trisha has mental illness, so we have to believe every single woman thing she says, even when she says she's lying and she's trolling. Whew! It's exhausting. But then again, Trisha gets what she wants. People talking about her. I like it. People are like, well, you're milking this situation too. Well, yeah, I'm a YouTuber that talks about current topics. Absolutely. I'm using this for my business. But I'm exhausted by it. And it's not necessarily great for business because I could do other videos on other people that would do better. But I'm very interested in this because I don't like watching people being bullied. And I feel like I'm watching Shane and Ryland be bullied. I don't get the criticism. Well, it's so hypocritical of them because Ryland went through it, so he should know better. Guys, is every friendship the exact same dynamics? Are you friends with the exact same carbon copy people who do the exact same things, say the exact same things? No. All of our relationships, I just feel like this is kindergarten level stuff, but then again, you're just dealing with gossip channels who just want to spread hate and negativity to make money. They love destroying somebody's life to make money. They don't care. Oh, but they're not big media. Guys, every friendship and relationship is vastly different and vastly nuanced. Every single one. So just because Trisha and Shane or Trisha and Ryland have had an issue where Jeffree is in there and they don't like it, right? Doesn't mean just because Ryland went through that with Lizzie that it means Ryland's horrible because, well, Ryland's been through this and he should have known better. Therefore, it was intentional. All the crazy, the theories that I'm hearing everywhere from people. We don't know what that situation was. Why don't we know it? Because they're being respectful, mature adults. The thing that Trisha refuses to be because of a mental illness. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give BPD a pass for just consistently being destructive. She knows she should stop, take a breath. She knows the things she should do. She's talked about them. She just doesn't do them. I'm not saying people with BPD or mental illness don't struggle with what they're going through, don't struggle with self-control. I get it, but Trisha just doesn't care a lot of times to have it because she makes more money being destructive, and she knows that. Shane is awful and so focused on the money, and all I've heard from Trisha this week is, I need the money. I just bought a house. I don't have any money. I need the money. I just bought a house. That's all I've heard from her. When have Shane and Ryland said a peep about money right now? But, oh, they're doing it for the money. I don't buy it. You can't compare something that they privately went through to something Trisha publicly has put blame on Shane for that is not his fault. In my opinion, I continue to think this is gross. I continue to think Trisha is knowingly bullying Shane to get what she wants because she knows she can right now. And I think, I don't like it. I don't like bullies. And I just feel like the internet we're so quick to believe the bully who's crying victim. Look what happened with Toddy. Look exactly what happened with Toddy and James Charles. That's exactly what happened. He was the scum of the earth until he provided evidence. And then Toddy was the joke. And then I guess Toddy comes out and says some things in May about Shane. And when Shane is going through some controversy because D'Angelo Wallace, God love D'Angelo, doesn't understand the context of the time that I grew up in, which is fair, but he took things that were obviously shock humor value jokes and assigned real world implications to them. And apparently Shane's just bad. I don't like the bullying. I don't like it. Just because somebody's made mistakes doesn't mean there's a complete target on their back for the rest of their life for you to bully because that means weakness. That's all it is. This is predatory. This is narcissist. This is sociopathy, and I don't like it, and that's why I keep speaking up. If there's something to criticize, and look, I've had some criticism about Shane in this situation. I very much stuck up for Trisha in the beginning. Why have I changed? If you want to know why, because Trisha changed. It wasn't about hairbyjay and Trisha. Trisha changed it to Trisha versus Shane, who did nothing, and then versus Ryland, who's done nothing. They've tried to be polite and respectful. And Trisha is either so narcissistic, which she has admitted to, and into herself that she can't see it, or she is such a toxic, unhealthy person that she completely believes all of these reactions she has about spilling every possible thing about every possible person on the internet is healthy because she gets money and attention. And for her, that's all that really matters. I hope Ethan and Hila watch their back. I wonder when time number 3 of Trisha having a breakdown and putting out every single ounce of family history is going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But Trisha delights in having no self-control and doing all of this for attention and money. But everybody else is making money because they're evil and she rebukes it. So yeah, we don't know the situation. And it could have been a totally different situation than Trisha. And the thing is, and this is what's bothering me, Trisha's like, I did come to you guys. You knew about it for a year. I think Ryland is saying, when all this happened with hairbyjay, we didn't know how extreme you were feeling about Jeffree in that moment. Because I bet if they've hung out with Trisha so much, Trisha has gone back and forth about Jeffree. Oh, like she admitted like a week and a half ago saying she wanted to make peace with Jeffree and that she was fine with Jeffree being on their podcast. So how are they to know? I feel like everything is being taken as much as it can out of context and spun on things people don't know about. They're just assuming to be mean. And I don't like bullies. So that's what I have to say with my angel wings. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please help me out and give me a big thumbs up because I'll need it because people don't like when I give opinions that aren't super popular narrative. But as I've said before, you're going to get insight on this channel that's going to go against many times the popular narrative simply because I like giving other points of view. And I also don't like bullies. And Trisha to me is a bully. So please give me a big thumbs up. Also subscribe, hit that notification button if you're new, and comment. Let me know what you think. Just make sure it's respectful because I've had some that aren't. And I remove people and they get mad, but my page is not for your freedom of speech. And sadly enough, YouTube isn't for freedom of speech anymore. I'm not going to let you bully and be mean on my page. I'm just not. You can, if people want to be respectful, mature, and they want to state what they dislike or what they disagree with respectfully, you are more than welcome here. I love it because some of y'all make me think and I appreciate that. So yeah, share this content if you think other people might like it. Otherwise, I'm going to go get more videos ready. All right, guys, take care and blessings until the next video. I'll see y'all soon. And I'm giving you guys lots of love, lots of blessings, and I'm wishing you guys hugs, mwah, and big kisses. Bye, guys.